Hi everyone, going to be reading from Unteachables, Chapter 30, Aldo Braff. Just because you've got anger management problems doesn't mean there isn't plenty to be ticked off about. Second, the internal combustion engine finished second in the district science fair. It would have been better to finish 150th than to come so close to winning only to take an L. I don't care about the trophy. You can find that plastic junk in a dollar store. But we were a hair away from saving Ribbit. And they gave first place to a bunch of dweebs whose teacher didn't even need saving. I barely remember their project, some windmill thingy. No one's ever going to forget ours, definitely not the fire department who had to spray down all those bushes and trees because of conflagration containment, whatever that means. Miss Fountain tries to make us feel better. You can't take this so personally, she tells us on Monday morning. Your project was just as good as the wind turbine, but clean power is very hot these days. Hot? I echo. We set the whole street on fire. What could be hotter than that? She's patient. I mean, popular. People care about the environment. Your project was wonderful, but internal combustion engines are so last century. Well, how do you think everybody got to the science fair? Barnstorm challenges. They drove internal combustion engines. I'll bet nobody came by wind turbine, Elaine adds in her usual rumble. Miss Fountain just sighs. I can't be mad at her. She wanted this every bit as much as we did. It was Ribbit who showed me that teachers aren't always the enemy, even when they make you do work or yell or take away your rabbit butts. If it wasn't for Ribbit, I never would have heard of Where the Red Fern Grows, which I'd be done with by now if we didn't drop everything to work on the science fair. I can barely picture my life before I knew about Billy, Old Dan, and Little Ann, who feel like real people to me, except Old Dan and Little Ann, who are dogs. Poor Mr. Kermit, says Kiana. I can't believe we let him down. I don't want any more of this kind of talk, Miss Fountain lectures sternly. You didn't let him down. Just the opposite. He's prouder of you than he's ever been of any class, and he loves his new car. Well, then how come he was afraid to drive it home from the science fair? Mateo asks. That was just because of the racing fuel, she explains. Once Jake drained all that out and put in regular gas, Mr. Kermit was fine. He has the cutest nickname for it. He calls it Coco Nerd. Isn't that adorable? Miss Fountain thinks a lot of things are adorable. That's not my style. Maybe Vladimir is in a lizardly kind of way. And Old Dan and Little Ann, although I never met them in real life. Anyway, Ribbit might be psyched about his car, but he isn't psyched enough to come to school today. Even worse, our sub turns out to be Dawn of the Dead again. Now, to be honest, she's not as mean this time around. Some of that might be because we're so depressed about losing Ribbit that nobody has the energy to give her much of a hard time. We drop a few textbooks, but our hearts aren't into it enough to get the timing right. Who can buzz out a fake power hum when the best teacher in the world is getting shafted and you could have helped, but you failed? We deserve Dawn of the Dead. We deserve someone even meaner than her. I can't picture who that would be. Mateo probably knows. When she tells us to work, we don't even argue with her. We don't groan and complain. We don't even goof off. I'm just as happy to get back to Old Dan and Little Ann. It might take my mind off Ribbit and how we blew it for him. Dawn watches us a few minutes, and then she sighs and says, All right, let's hear it. We stare at her blankly. Come on, she persists. Something's eating you, all of you. Tell me what it is. It's like a dam breaks, and we all start jabbering at the same time. Our teacher's getting fired for no reason at all. It's not fair. That jerk Thaddeus hates Mr. Kermit. He's worse than the Dementors. I should have run him over when I had the chance, and it goes on and on. We never run out of complaints about how awful and unfair it is. It's the first time I've ever been in a class where everybody else is just as mad as I am. And we can't all have anger management issues. Sometimes mad isn't exactly what you're supposed to be. The amazing part is Dawn of the Dead doesn't chew us out or shut us down. She listens, which can't be easy with all 7 of us yelling over each other. And then she has a long conversation with Miss Fountain, who comes to see what the racket is about. The two of them are in the hall talking for what seems like forever. Finally, the substitute walks back into the room and faces us. "Well, it seems as if I misjudged you young people." She's wrong about that. Anything bad she thought about us last time goes double, because we had the opportunity to help Ribbit, and we came up empty.